How's everybody doing? It's me, Scott Bowerman, the Fly Guy, Daiichi Pro Tire. I'm sitting in front of my Regal vise, and today I am going to tie you a Alvin, or a sac fry as some call it. Quite a simple little pattern, and boy does it rail the steelhead right now. So let's get started. And the hook we have in our vise is it's a size 6 egg hook. I couldn't get any X points right now. They're very scarce, hard to come by, so I had to use a substitute. And the thread we're going to use is a Danville 3/0 monocord in white. We're going to wrap from the hook eye to the hook point and build a thread base. Our overall fly from the hook eye to the end of the tail, which is going to be right here, is 1.25 inches long. So we're going to build a thread base. There we are, we're right up to our point. And now we're going to bring our thread right back to approximately the center. And just a couple wraps to lock it right there. For eyes, we're going to use Hairline Mono Eyes in medium black. You can see how they're all fastened on these little stems. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take our scissors, cut a pair off, and we're going to set them on the top, and we're just going to lightly go over it twice, turn them, and then kind of figure 8 2 more times. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of cant our jaws so you can see that the eyes are somewhat centered. And now we're going to finish our figure 8. Let me get out of there, a little piece of fuzz. And that's going to lock our eyes into place. And now we're going to have our thread hanging right in front of the eyes. And what we need now for the actual body of our minnow is Hairline's UV Minnow Belly. Very wispy stuff. You could use it for giant streamers, small streamers alike. And one thing to remember when you're tying little tiny minnows, they're very see-through. So you want to make sure that your little sac fry is see-through as well. I mean, you can measure it out, kind of get an idea. I'm gonna cut these fibers, and I'm gonna set this clump right on the top, and I'm gonna go over and over again. I'm not pulling tight. What I am going to do is I'm going to pull my minnow belly back until it's behind the hook eye, and then I'm going to finish wrapping it down. Now I'm going to bring my thread behind the eyes and secure it, wrapping right up to our hook point. Now I'm going to cut this off. There is our 1.25 inches. I mean, when that gets wet, it's going to cling down to look like a little minnow. I'm going to bring my thread forward, just kind of figure 8 that over the eyes. And that's the actual overall length of the minnow. And what we're going to do now is I'll get a fresh hank. This is orange McFly foam. And I'm just going to pull a hunk off, one hank, and I'm going to square up the end because you can see it's kind of messy, and I'm just going to cut that off. discard it. And I'm going to turn this vise over. Whoops, I got a little post on there I don't like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set that right on the bottom of the hook, and I'm going to just go over one time with my thread, pull it as far back as I can, and now start wrapping behind it. And I'm going to try to capture as much of that orange McFly foam under that thread so it doesn't poke through when we put our dubbing on. Now I'm going to hold this. You can see I'm lifting up and it's lifting up on the vise. I'm pulling as tight as this McFly foam can go, and I'm going to make one cut. Whoops. And there's our yolk right there. Now I'm going to use Pearl Ice Dub, another great hairline dubbing product. In this stuff you only need a few strands. We're going to spin it onto our thread, and since we have a camera close proximity, I can't put a whole lot of dubbing on at one time. And we're just going to wrap forward, and maybe one more good clump of this ice dub. And now I'm going to figure 8 with just a little more. All I'm trying to do is just build up a little bulk to make it look like a little tiny minnow head, and cover you can see we've got no dubbing or orange that sticks through the dubbing there. And now I'm going to put a whip finish on. And a second whip finish. And I'm going to adjust these lights so they're not shining directly on it. And there you have a little UV Sac Fry that is a steelhead magnet right now. You got your little eggs that are hatching, and then you've got this stage right here, and once they absorb this little egg yolk, then they're going to be just a little tiny fry pattern, just a little tiny minnow. And those fish are taking advantage of these little morsels that are in the waterway. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you can get out and tie some yourself. Please share some fish pictures with the Fly Guy Fly Shop with your flies, and I'll be glad to post them. And I'm Scott Bowerman, the Fly Guy, and Daiichi Pro Tire. Everybody have a blessed day and tight lines, and we'll see you on the water. Bye-bye.